Hey everyone, this is Bill Krieger from the Veterans Archives podcast, where we preserve and share the incredible stories of our nation's heroes. Catch us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wreaths Across America Radio, or stream anytime on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Really, anywhere you choose to get your podcast, you should be able to find us. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media to help us reach more veterans and supporters. We are a nonprofit, and this service is completely free for veterans. Every story matters, and every voice deserves to be heard. Spread the word, honor our heroes, and join us on this mission. Follow, share, and tune in, because their story should never be forgotten. Learn more at veteransarchives.org. We'll see you there. Today is Tuesday, May 13th. We're here with Billy Adams, who served in the United States Army. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning.
It's great to see you this morning.
Nice to see you, sir.
All right. Now, we're going to start out pretty simple. When and where were you born?
I was born in Drumright, Oklahoma, August 23rd, 1948.
Okay. And I think we talked earlier before we started recording that you didn't actually grow up in Oklahoma, though, did you?
No.
Okay.
Because my father was in the oil field business too.
Uh-huh.
I was in that a long time myself. But he got transferred for interstate oil and pipeline to Louisiana.
All right. And were you pretty young when you moved to Louisiana then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, did you have brothers and sisters?
3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Oh my gosh.
7 kids.
Wow. What was it like growing up in a house with 6 brothers and sisters?
Lunacy.
Yeah. You have to fight for your meals, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so were you the oldest, the youngest? Were you in the middle somewhere?
I was I got a sister older than me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was the second one
Okay.
out of 7 kids.
So you were the oldest boy then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, did you grow up in a city or were you out in the country? Do you recall?
Pretty much. We were outside of. Are you familiar with Faraday, Louisiana?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Okay. We lived outside of Faraday, not actually on Lake Concordia, but it was across the levee from us.
Okay.
You know, we had a lake there and everything. It was pretty neat.
Yeah. Now, did you, growing up, were you and your brothers and sisters, did you do a lot of things together? Were you friends or did you do stuff with other people or?
I would say we were, everybody, we seemed to be independent of each other.
Okay.
Because of school and the kids we played with and all of that kind of stuff, the stuff we did. I mean, you know, girls are going to be different than boys.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, especially.
Yeah. Okay.
But I was into athletics, and my brothers, one of them was in athletics. I had 3 brothers. And so I was different in that I was always, playing baseball.
Okay. So baseball was your sport?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you play that all through school?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was school for you? Did you enjoy school? Or was school a way for you to play baseball?
It was mostly after school type stuff.
Okay.
The baseball, but yeah, I wasn't too smart in school.
Mm-hmm.
I had to ask Mr. Quimby to give me a D so I could graduate.
Oh, okay.
With my class.
You're right.
Rather than stay another year.
Was he obliging then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you remember about your parents? Anything that you recall about your mom and dad that kind of sticks out in your mind?
Well, my mother used to watch soap operas with the next door neighbor.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. My father worked for Ashland Oil, and I eventually worked for Ashland Oil and worked with him for many years.
Oh, okay.
I would go to work with him and help him.
Oh. Well, that's
and all the oil fields around there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of oil fields. I'm not sure what it's like now, though.
Yeah. And that's interesting because I think when I think about Louisiana, I don't necessarily think about oil fields. You know, I think about like Texas or someplace like that. But I guess Oklahoma, Louisiana, all that whole area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you eventually graduated from high school. You got that D that you needed, and you graduated. Did you were you drafted into the service right after that, or was there? What do you remember how that happened?
Yeah, the draft lady called and said I was going to be drafted, but I could. I at the time I was working for Houston Gamma Ray Company.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they do?
No, what do they do?
X-ray pipeline welds all over the United States.
Okay.
In different places.
All right.
You know.
And for people who don't know, the pipelines that are made of steel, when those are welded, they X-ray those welds and then they keep records of it, right? So in case something happens.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's what you did for them?
Yes.
Okay.
But anyway, let's see. I used to, for many years, I X-rayed wells. And where were we before that?
Okay, yeah, no problem. So we were talking about you, the lady from the draft board called.
Oh, yes.
And said that you were going to get drafted.
Yes. And she said, but Billy, since you work in pipeline X-ray and you work out of Houston, Texas, you can switch your draft thing to Texas, Houston, Texas, and you probably won't be drafted.
Oh.
You know,
yeah,
because it's a bigger place.
Right.
You know, little podunk Faraday, Louisiana.
Everybody went, right? Everybody got, Okay. So you switched it over to Houston.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? You stayed. Okay.
I stayed.
Okay.
I felt that, what do you call it? I felt I had to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, kind of that commitment.
Even though I could have got out of it.
Right. Okay. So you ended up.
I wasn't getting along with my wife either.
Oh, so you were married at this time?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you have any children?
One son. Jody.
Okay.
He's grown up now.
Yeah.
Doing well.
Well, good. Did he stay in Louisiana then? Your son?
He actually moved across. He actually moved across the bridge to Natchez, Mississippi.
Okay.
So he's lived in Natchez many years.
Okay.
He's coming to visit here in about a week.
Wow, that'll be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So
he's got 3 kids.
Oh, that'll be busy. So you stayed there, and you eventually got drafted, right? Into the Army?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we were talking earlier that you went to basic training at Tigerland.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a historic place for basic training.
It was.
Yeah. So tell me what you remember about basic training. What was it like when you got there?
You learn how the marksmanship to shoot and all the stuff you do, low crawl, just physical exercise. It was just a whole devy of stuff,
Right.
Running every day. You didn't rest much.
No. And so, do you think that working in the oil fields helped you when you got to basic training, or was it kind of a surprise when you got there that?
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, listeners, we need your help to keep the Veterans Archives podcast going. We're a nonprofit dedicated to preserving the stories of our nation's heroes, and we provide this service completely free to veterans. Your support helps us record, share, and archive these incredible stories so future generations never forget the sacrifices made for our freedom. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. Visit veteransarchives.org to contribute today. Help us honor their service by ensuring their voices are heard. And thank you for your support, and thank you to all the veterans who have served our country.
Now working in the oil fields with my father, helping him, that was a good experience for me too.
Okay.
Because I ended up going to work for Ashland Oil myself, and I knew a lot about the oil field.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's go back a little bit to basic training then. So you made it through basic training.
Yes.
And then, do you remember where you went from there?
Yes, AIT was because I had worked on the river. I don't know if I told you this. I worked on the river a year on a tugboat.
Okay.
For Ashland Oil, hauling oil from New Orleans all the way to Ashland, Kentucky.
Okay.
And so
did that help you pick what job you were going to do in the Army then?
Yeah, whenever I got to Fort Eustis, when I got drafted, and I went to Fort Eustis because of my work on the boat.
Yeah.
They ended up putting me in seaman training.
Okay. All right. And then you did that for a period of time?
Yes, learning how to drive the Mike boats and U-boats. And those are the boats that carry equipment. You've seen them in World War II and all that.
Yeah.
Where the front of the boat lets down and the troops charge ashore to fight.
Yeah.
We were doing that. I learned how to drive those. But we weren't in combat with them. We hauled equipment in Vietnam mostly.
Okay. All right.
Because but yeah, they used them in war in World War I and II, I think.
Mm-hmm. But you were using them to make sure people got what they needed.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you finished up with AIT, then is that when you went to Vietnam?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever I got my orders. Well, I volunteered for Vietnam.
Okay.
And so I flew out. I flew to Alaska.
Oh.
And to the airport. I went to the airport, and a transport plane landed there and just picked me up.
Oh.
By myself.
Well, you must have been pretty important. You got your own plane.
I felt important.
I'll bet.
So we flew there to Japan. And from there to Vietnam.
Okay. What was it? Do you recall what it was like when you first got there to Vietnam? Do you remember what that was like for you?
Yeah, because a helicopter took me to a place out in the middle of course, Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
No, Yeah. And if you'd never been there before, and we stopped at this restaurant. It was a restaurant, and it was closed. And they dropped me off and said a truck would come and pick me up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I was in the middle of Vietnam. waiting on the truck to come pick me up at night. And it was, it didn't bother me. I wasn't as afraid as I thought I would be.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you could see the bombs going off in the background and everything.
Yeah, you must have felt kind of alone, though. I mean,
yeah, alone, yes.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the truck finally came there and picked you up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And took me to a unit, 784th Transportation Company, outside of Saigon. We were about 20 or 30 miles from Saigon. Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's see, and so there, let's see. Oh, I got to tell you this story.
Okay.
When the first night I got there, and they dropped me off at the unit, there was a latrine, and so I needed to use the bathroom real bad. So I go in there, and a rocket landed outside the latrine and blew all the windows out and everything, and blew me off the commode and, across the floor.
Yeah. Welcome to
and
Vietnam.
It didn't hurt me. I mean, it didn't, I wasn't injured, but I got christened.
Yeah. That'll wake you up, won't it?
All the windows blew out and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you kind of wonder what you were...
Had got myself into?
Yeah, a little bit. So you got to your unit, and then were you driving boats then at this time?
No, I done those mostly in AIT and basic training.
Oh, okay. So then when you
training.
Yeah, when you got to Vietnam, what did you do there?
Well, I went in. The first sergeant was there. And he was, he looked over my thing. He said, "Oh, you can type 45 words a minute?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, welcome. You're my new company clerk." So I had it made.
Yeah.
I was the company clerk there at a post office.
Okay.
The big post office for used to be General Westmoreland. So
what was that like? Was that?
It was.
Sounds like good duty.
Yeah, it was good duty. It was just probably safe. We was probably safer there than in the States.
I wouldn't be surprised.
In the streets.
Yeah, mail's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
how long were you in Vietnam?
Little over a year.
Okay. Any other stories you want to share about your time there? Any interesting things that happened other than the rocket attack at the latrine? Anything? No attacks or anything like that happened while you were?
No, no. We were from then on. We were in a very
like secure,
fortified place.
Okay.
Around there, because General Westmoreland was just up the road.
Yeah. Okay.
In Saigon.
Okay. So pretty, other than when you first got there, then pretty uneventful tour of duty then.
As far as fighting and stuff goes,
yeah. Did you make some friends while you were there?
Yeah.
Okay. You still keep in touch with any of them?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. So you were there for a year, and then did you take R&R at any time during your tour there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I met my first wife in Hawaii
Uh-huh.
for R&R.
That's where most of the guys went, right? Was Hawaii?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How was that for you? Did you enjoy Hawaii?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Oh, good.
You ever been there?
Yes, I have. I went there for
okay.
my honeymoon, actually.
I got to tell you a story about that. When I went to Hawaii for R&R, I stayed at the tallest hotel on Waikiki Beach. When I went back to Hawaii with my second wife,
Uh-huh.
it was the shortest hotel on Waikiki Beach.
Oh, things change, don't they, Billy?
Yeah, I like telling that story because, it went from a little hotel to a skyscraper hotel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's wow. Yep, things definitely do change. So you once you finished up your tour, then you flew back home.
Mm-hmm.
Did you fly through Alaska again, or how'd you get home?
Yeah, I went to Alaska.
Okay, all right. And then did you from there? Did you go back to Louisiana then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to Natchez.
Yeah.
Okay, Natchez.
Faraday. Actually, Faraday is where I lived,
Okay, all right.
which is across the bridge from Natchez.
Yes. And so did you go back to work for the oil company?
Yes, Ashland Oil.
All right. And were you working with your dad at this time?
No,
Okay.
I got a job for him.
Okay. All right. And you were still married then,
Yeah.
and you're raising your son and working, and so do you recall how long you worked for the oil company? Was it a long time?
Probably a couple of years.
Okay. And then you said that you went to work for the Forest Service, right?
Yeah, I moved to Baton Rouge and was living down there for quite a while, and I'd always heard about Florida,
Uh-huh.
so I decided to move down here. So that's what I did, and I've been here ever since.
Okay. Now, were you still married when you moved to Florida, or were you
No, I
divorced?
wasn't.
Okay,
No.
so you were a single guy at this time. You moved to Florida, and then, so is this where you went to work for the Forest Service then, or what did you do when you got here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, the Division of Forestry.
all right. And what did you do for them?
I was company clerk.
Okay,
Yeah, company clerk for forestry.
okay. So you processed all the paperwork and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any highlights from working there that you want to talk about? Any interesting stories from the Forest Service?
It was just the Smoky Bear and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Doing programs, checking for wildfires,
Mm-hmm.
like they're doing now, fighting wildfires. Of course, I was working in the office, so I didn't have to actually fight wildfires myself, but
Did a lot of coordination for them. Okay, so there's a big controversy. You can answer this question for me.
Mm-hmm.
So some people say Smokey the Bear, and some people say Smokey Bear. Which is it? Is it Smokey the Bear or Smokey Bear? I've always been curious. Or is it just one of those things we'll never know?
I always say Smoky Bear
Okay.
myself.
Well,
I've always said Smoky Bear.
yeah. Well, and you worked for the Forest Service, so I'll take your word for it on that one. So tell me, how'd you meet Shirley?
I was working for forestry, and I had a house. They gave me a house in South Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
out there, South OVT. During that time, I met her,
Okay.
and she actually moved into the forestry house with me.
Uh-huh. All right. And now, did she have children, or did you guys have children together?
We didn't have any together, but
Okay.
she had children, Eric and Jennifer.
Okay. All right. They moved in with you as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And so you've been married for a few years now, so that must have all worked out for you.
Yeah.
So what is it? What was it about Shirley? Do you recall what was it about Shirley that that attracted you to her? What was?
She's she's very smart, for one thing. She's college grad and everything. But, and she's just a good person.
Yeah.
Very good person.
Yeah.
They don't make women like that much. Don't tell her I said that.
Okay.
She's behind you.
All right. That'll be between us. We were saying she's a really good person and really smart, and so you decided to get married. Now, do you recall how long have you been married? Do you recall?
Over 30 years.
Okay. All right. And so you got married, you raised a family, and you retired, and you're enjoying your retirement now. And we talked earlier too that you used to do a lot of running.
Yeah. When I lived in Baton Rouge before I came to Florida, I used to run road races.
Okay.
The 10Ks and 5Ks, and I ran a marathon or two. And, in hindsight, I wouldn't have run as much because I ended up 2 knee replacements.
Yeah. That's hard on your body, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it can be.
Yeah. I actually run my marathon was across the 26-mile bridge in New Orleans.
Oh.
Are you familiar with the bridge?
I'm not.
Outside of New Orleans?
I'm not. Tell me about this.
Outside of New Orleans, there's a bridge. It's 26 miles long. And,
Okay.
from the other towns on the other side
Yeah.
of the bridge. And
So that whole marathon is just that bridge, though.
yeah, they did a marathon on there once, and I ran it.
Wow. How's that? How do you
I'll never forget this. Oh, if you don't mind me, I'll never forget this. This old black gentleman. I said, I was jogging along by him, and I said, man, this 26 miles, I didn't realize that's a long way.
It is.
And I said, and they had a bus on the bridge, the outside of New Orleans, that would come along, and if you could get on the bus.
Right. You could quit if you wanted.
You could quit if you wanted. And I said, yeah, next time the bus comes by, I'm getting on it. He said, no, you're not. You're going to finish. So I said, okay.
So he encouraged you to finish that race, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys finish it together?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great story.
He was a big guy, too.
Yeah. Yeah. You weren't going to tell him no, huh?
No. But he was really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Did you do anything after retirement? Did you do any work or anything like that afterwards? You just enjoyed retirement?
Mostly just retirement.
Yeah. Just enjoying the grandkids and all of that? Yeah. Well, very good. Well, I've asked a lot of questions today, and I'm just going to ask you one more question. And, first, actually, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about, that you want to
Did I tell you the story about the the rocket landing outside the latrine?
Yes, yes, we did talk about that.
Okay.
We definitely have to get that story now.
That's one of my best stories.
That's a great story. Lucky that you're here, by the way.
Yeah.
After that
reading
story.
Stars and Stripes and got blown off the commode.
Oh, no. You should have kept that paper. That was your lucky newspaper. Yeah. That's what that was.
I probably did keep it and then lost it or something somewhere along the, in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do that. So the only other question I have is that, people are going to listen to this, years down the road. And I'm just wondering, is there like a message that you would like to leave for people, something that you would like to tell people that are listening to this?
Just if I had to, say something like that, I'd say just be calm, go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Accept what the good old United States will offer you. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for taking time out today to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
And thanks for talking with me.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Veterans Archives podcast. We truly appreciate you taking the time to listen and honor the incredible stories of our nation's heroes. Don't forget, you can catch us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wreaths Across America Radio, or stream past episodes anytime on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and as I've said before, any place you can find a podcast, you can find the Veterans Archives podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share our content on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and across all social media. Every share helps us reach more people and preserve more stories. The Veterans Archives podcast is a nonprofit initiative, and our mission is simple: to give veterans a voice and ensure their stories are never forgotten. This service is completely free for veterans because their sacrifices deserve to be recognized and remembered. You want to help? Follow us, spread the word, and if you know a veteran with a story to tell, send them our way. Visit us at veteransarchives.org to learn more about how you can get involved. Thanks again for tuning in, and most importantly, thank you to all the veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice. Until next time, take care, and we will see you on the next episode of the Veterans Archives podcast.